to the Crimson 15 podcast. I'm your host, Crimson Sin. If you're enjoying these long format reviews, be sure to like, sub, share, and hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss a single episode. So we're up to episode 3 of She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, and this is called Signal, so no silly pun title. It's just weird. This is a weird episode because, just like the last two, it moves the plot forward, but there's so much fluff. So much unnecessary things that are happening that it's just boring. I almost fell asleep. It's so boring. We open up with Hordak, and Hordak's doing something like, ooh, all season 1. I think all he ever did was sit in his chair and maybe stand up one time. But we see Hordak working on some kind of experiment. We really can't glean too much information except for the fact that it failed because it blew up and he got all pissed off. So Hordak's up to something, which is nice. You know, being the big evil bad guy, you'd think he'd be able to do something. We cut to Glimmer, Bo, and Adora, and now they're bringing Swiftwind everywhere they go. Oh, thank God. And they're walking through the forest. I guess they're going to check up on some place because they haven't been in contact for a while. And it's just the three of them again. The other princesses, we get no explanation of what they're doing, what's happening. In Bright Moon, nothing. It's just, we just stick with these three. So they're trudging through the forest and they're just talking about Bo's trying to become I don't want to say the computer guy, but like the engineer of the team because now Entrapta's gone and they're talking about how, she must be under a spell or something. But even Glimmer's like, hey, when we were talking to her, she seemed normal. She didn't seem like she was, as normal as it gets for her. And they're like, we got to put that out of her mind. She made her decision. We got to move on. Which is a smart idea because you can't just keep dwelling on this failure that you had of leaving her behind. She made the decision to join the bad guys. I guess this is supposed to be the scary episode. Like if there was a Halloween episode, I guess this would be it. Because they're trying to show like the wind's blowing in the trees. Ooh, it's spooky. We cut to Entrapta working on something and this is where all this filler comes in. This scene it's the information that they needed to get out was her desk is shaky. She needs to find a hex wrench. And her little robot, Emily, is like looking for it. And it's like searching under this, looking over there. It's crawling over here. And it's like, we get it. We can't find it. If you were to cut out all of this fluff, this episode would probably be about 10 minutes long. We get to probably my favorite scene in this episode. Probably in these first 3 episodes is this right here. Because we get to see Hordak be an evil guy. Catra walks in and Hordak's working on his experiment and he's like, state your business. What do you want? She's like, I wanted to check in so we could touch base so we can go over plans and stuff. So he's like, so you interrupted me for nothing. You didn't have anything for me. And she's like, oh no, I want to, we can plan and strategize. And he's busy. He doesn't want to talk to you right now, Catra. And he's an evil dude. And he's like, kind of laying in it on her. And Catra's scared of this guy, and rightfully so. He's an intimidating figure with a lot of strength, a lot of power, and he has a really cool design. I just absolutely love the way he looks in this series. I like the original Hordak from the 80s. He's a little more bigger, a little more physically imposing. This is kind of like the evil mad scientist kind of look, and I think it's really cool for him. He's talking to her, and he's trying to run this experiment, and he just hates this planet, this backwater planet. He's like, the atmosphere is causing a lot of problems for this plan I'm trying to do. He activates it and Catra starts talking, but it's starting hard for her to breathe. And he's all talking to her. How's your breathing, Catra? The atmosphere. So he's basically kind of, without choking her, he's depriving her of oxygen. What an evil dude. He didn't even, he's going to experiment on her, while she's in the room.
Tell me, Force Captain, how is your breathing?
He's an evil guy, and thank you. Evil people need to do evil things in shows, so we know that he's the evil guy. It's a crazy concept, I know, right? And he shuts it off, and he's like, you know what? You've been failing. Yeah, she always hypes up that, I got really close to taking Bright Moon. Yeah, that doesn't matter, you lost. Second place is first loser. You still freaking lost. And she's kind of trying to stand up for herself, which is probably... you can take 2 options here. You can either throw yourself on the mercy of your master or stand up for yourself. And Catra stands up for herself. And I was thinking, oh man, he has everything. He can just wipe her out. He can just kill her. He has his arm on a lever. So what is he going to pull a lever and the trap door is going to fall? Or is it going to reactivate that thing, but it was kind of a funny situation. But he's like, okay, prove your worth to me. You say you can take out these princesses, freaking do it. And as she's walking out, the little robot baby thing, I guess it can record voices and it keeps saying worthless like over and over again. And I thought that was funny. It's kind of screwed up that he did that. We get back to the worst part of the show and this episode. They're walking their way to this village and they send supplies. They can't even come up with the decent thing saying they supply food, they have medicine. No, it's just general supplies. Everything's spooky and scary. And they're getting this whole episode, everyone gets scared probably about 15-20 times. It wasn't funny the first time, and it sure the hell wasn't funny the 20th time. And I never in my life have been more freaked out by a horse right here. Look how ugly they draw Swiftwind. My God, his teeth. That's just creepy. Don't draw the individual teeth. It just looks freaking weird. They get to that village and then it's all deserted. Oh, scary. And Bo's like, I'll use my tracker. Is this the only piece of technology they have? Because everything else they have is like swords and shields and magic. They don't have any like actual like how Hordak, they have all kinds of technology, and this seems to be the only actual piece of like electronic, which is weird. He can't get it to work, and he's trying, but he's failing. But Glimmer's like, it doesn't matter, we got magic, which is nice. Then they do this stupid, silly cartoon thing. You've seen it in a million stories. This was done in Avatar way better. There was an episode where they were in the swamp, and they were like all scared of all the stuff that could happen in there. This is similar, but they do everything wrong. A door starts telling ghost stories about the evil princess. Oh, she'll steal you in the night. Why are you doing this? Why aren't you worried about the people who are supposed to be in this village? Why are you telling stupid, scary stories? And she does it like 6 times. Swiftwind is, he's a scaredy cat too, and he's like, but he can sense the energies. That's his thing. He can sense stuff. We see what looks to be like a ghost, but I knew for a fact that there's no way they're not doing the ghost angle. This is, I thought that there was some type of technology where the people were hiding themselves. I turned out to be wrong, but it's just silly that if anyone even thought that this was a ghost or a spirit, I mean, seriously. We cut back to the Fright Zone with Scorpia and Catra, and that fluff, this fluff is ridiculous. I don't know. I like the scene, but it goes on too long because it shows you it's not all about fighting battles. There's logistics, there's soldiers, there's you got to provide food, there's things you got to do as a leader, and Catra wants nothing to do with that. She just wants to go out there and punch everyone. And Scorpia's like, she has all these files. Why does she have to be fumbling with them? Why couldn't they just be laid out and just have a serious conversation? No, it's got to be all silly and stupid. They need to attack this area, and like, those soldiers can't attack. They don't have any armor. They put a request in like 6 months ago, and then Catra's like, fine, whatever, give them the armor. Well, we can't do the armor because no one's been getting any ore. There's like a special kind of metal they need to make their armor. And she's like, where do we get it? Well, I don't have the file. And it shows you all the minutia of war, of battle, about a sustained war, not just a single fight, which is Catra's good at, but she's not good at any of this stuff. But this scene goes on and on and on. Entrapta falls out of an air vent, and the animation's weird. She's looking for a stupid wrench, and she's like, oh, do you guys got any? And she's like, no, we don't. And then Entrapta's like, oh, that's fine. I saw one in Hordak's laboratory. And rightfully so, being a good friend, she doesn't want Entrapta to go talk to Hordak, because if Hordak's willing to almost kill Catra for like really nothing at all, he would absolutely kill this Entrapta chick because she's so irritating. And instead of telling her why, she just tells her, don't bother him, don't go in his lair, he called it his sanctum, and then she's like, oh, that's so fancy. Well, it's a kind of funny joke, but Catra's like, promise me you're not going to go in there, but she doesn't say why. If she would have said, hey, Hordak, I know you don't know the guy, he is an evil, vicious man. If you get on his bad side, he will not hesitate to snap your neck and throw you in the garbage. So if you value yourself and you value your life, stay out of his damn way. But no, she just tells him not to do it. And like a little kid, if you don't give him an explanation, of course she's going to just go do it anyways. Catra tells Scorpia, hey, keep an eye on her, make sure she doesn't get in any trouble. And she's like, I'll do it for you. Are they playing up? Is Scorpia in love with Catra? Like, does she have like a crush on her? It's so weird because it really wasn't like that in season 1. And this one, they kind of start pushing it. It's really weird because there's a line later on in the episode, but it's just, it just makes, ugh. We get back to the Feel Good crew and they're still walking around and every little noise makes them scared. Every little creak in the wall, they freak out. And it's just drawn out. They get to a building and they like rush it. Why not peek in the window? Why not do anything normal? Why not call out for people? They're trying to make it scary, and if you think about the situation, it's not scary in the slightest. It's just a village at night. They get in there and they realize that there's food on the table. It's like everyone just left. And I'm thinking, oh wow, did these people get teleported out of here? Did some type of sci-fi thing happen? I'm thinking too much, but then there you go. We get a door telling another ghost story, and there was nothing but bloody footprints. Oh my god! And it's just freaking everyone out. And are they supposed to be teenagers or little kids? Because I think teenagers a little more, I don't know, mature. They're acting like they're 5, 6, 7 years old. Like if this was Alvin and the Chipmunks and they were like in the haunted old castle, that's how they would react. They're supposed to be like 15, 16, 17. It's pathetic. And look at this horrific shot of Swiftwind. My God, Mr. Goiter. What is going on with his neck? His face is tiny. The inconsistencies are just ridiculous. They go outside and guess what? They get scared again. It keeps freaking happening. And it was just like a window shutter, like hitting a window. We get back to Entrapta and she's at Hordak's door and she's like arguing with herself. Oh, there's a hex wrench in there. I know she told me not to do it, but if I do it and she never finds out, then it's like she never knew, and then it goes blah, 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 blah. Of course, she decides to go in there because she's an idiot. She's sneaking around. Hordak's working on one of his experiments. He gets all pissed off because it doesn't work and he storms out. And then she's in there like, oh, she sees what he's working on. And of course, she's like, oh, I'll do it for science. And is it just me or does Entrapta get like, looks like she's buffer here? Like her arms, like she's been like working out, but it's just the inconsistency of the animation. That's all that is. But it's just so weird to see her kind of more stocky when she really never really was. Get back to the scaredy cats, and guess what? They get scared again. I'm not making this up. It keeps happening. It's so stupid. They do a weird transition here. Okay, they're fed up with all the scary stuff, so she's gonna become She-Ra. She calls out for the power of, for the honor of Grayskull, but they do a pan to the left and it blocks the transformation, and then it just happens. It's like, why do that? It's so weird. It's like it kind of reminded me of like the stupid gags where in like in Austin Powers where they block the nudity, but there's no real reason to do it here. Whatever.
For the honor of Grayskull!
We get back to Entrapta, and I guess she's fixing the experiment that Hordak was doing. And remember when I saw how cool Hordak was and how evil he was, and he just had this like intensity to him? They kind of make him a goofball idiot for a little bit here, and it's just like, ugh, why did you got to do that? Hordak walks in on her, and he's like, what the hell are you doing in my lab? Then he's like kind of screaming at her like a big head mode. He doesn't need that silliness. But then Entrapta's like, okay, I was just fixing your experiment. You're using the wrong kind of cables, and I fixed it. Then he's like, wait a second. He activates it, and it works. And he's like, oh, wow, I can't believe this actually worked. And Entrapta's like, of course it worked. I used the right kind of cables. And then he's starting to see some value in this chick. He realizes that she's a complete scatterbrained weirdo, but she has a use for him. Or a use for her, actually, excuse me. And she's looking at it. She's like, whoa, I kind of understand some of this, but are these like portals? That's like theoretical science. Of course, Hordak, he's like, No, of course, he even calls him Backwater. Everyone's a Backwater mutant monkey girl. But if you get that reference, he's like, no, portals are real, and this is what this power source is for. This is what I'm trying to do. And she's like, oh my goodness, I want to be a part of this. I want to help you. Let me help you. It's for the science. And then he starts talking about, other worlds. And she's like, what do you mean? There's other planets? She's like, yeah, this is the only planet I've ever been to where everyone is unaware of other worlds. And then Entrapta's mind is just soaring to the skies because it's all for the advancements of science. We get a scene with Shadow Reaver and Catra, and I'm seeing a little bit of maybe some type of weird friendship here that might be kind of thing, but I don't think Shadow Weaver's trying to manipulate Catra here. I think she honestly is trying to help a little bit. Maybe it's a little bit of a gloating because they kind of always get to a point, but then they start like talking crap to each other. Catra shows up to the cell and she's like, where's this damn metal at? I can't find the file. And she's like, it's right here. It's right here in the Fright Zone. And Catra thinks, oh, you're trying to like sabotage me, but wouldn't there be other generals? Wouldn't there be like other lieutenants and people that would know these other things? It just seems like 4 people make decisions for an army of like tens of thousands. I don't even know how many soldiers they have, but it just seems to me that there's not enough delegation going on here. And I like this line. Shadow Weaver is talking to Catra and she's like, it's not so easy being me, is it? And she has that look of like, damn, it is tough. But of course she can't just say, please help me. She's like, oh no, it's easy. I can do this. And then she's like, yeah, there's a lot more to what I did than, just fighting battles. And she brings up, you don't even know what Hordak's real plan is. He doesn't trust you. And then, oh yeah, he trusts me. And then they start, mouthing off to each other. I want them to be friends again. I don't know. I guess I'm weird because she was like her torturer. And she treated Adora, when they both were growing up, she treated Adora like a beloved daughter, treated Catra like that filthy animal they brought in from the streets. But maybe they can somehow find mutual ground and like help each other, maybe? I don't know. I would like that. I don't know why. I want the bad guys to do good for some reason. We get to She-Ra and the rest of the idiots. They're in the forest and look how... Why is everyone so thick in this episode? Like, everyone's legs are, like, ridiculously huge. They're walking around the forest, and guess what? They're getting scared again. Ugh. I feel like I'm on repeat. Stop with the stupid scare gags. It's not funny. But they see some more of those, like, what they thought were ghosts. And Bo's like, wait a second. These aren't ghosts, and because they seem to be doing the same kind of movements. And I guess it's just like a hologram. So they're not ghosts, they're not spirits, they're just projected images. And of course everyone's still kind of scared, but Bo's like, no, wait a second. He walks up to it and realizes, oh, it's what it is. And we get a weird line here. We see this thing and it's waving. And Glimmer's like, oh, she's waving. She? Look at this. How do you determine a gender at all? This could be a guy, could be anything. I'm like, how did she just assume it was a girl? Whatever. That little line just bothered me. We get back to Scorpia and Catra, and she's walking out of the cell room, and Scorpia's like, oh, I found it. You won't believe it. The things, that ore we're looking for is being built here. And Catra already knew that and everything. And then we get that weird line. She's like, oh, you're smart and beautiful. What?
The material is produced right here in the Fright Zone.
Beautiful and brilliant.
Like, just the way that they look, I think Scorpia is like way older. Then she seems to be like a woman. Catra, Adora, and the rest of the other guys, they seem like they're teenagers. So that's just super weird. Like, I don't know, it just made me feel weird. And Catra realizes, holy crap, I told you to be watching Entrapta, and you're not. And of course she goes straight to Hordak because she knows that's where she probably went because she doesn't listen for crap. And she runs in there. Oh, I'm so sorry. Lord Hordak, she's new here. I won't let her bother you again. And then he's like, no, I'm doing work. You're bothering me. And Entrapta's helping me. And you get a kind of, a disappointment from Catra, because she's like, I've been putting in the work all these years, and all of a sudden now Entrapta's the hot ticket now. But you have to realize, Catra, your skill isn't this. You're not a builder, an engineer. You're not a scientist. This isn't where you're at. Your skills on the battlefield, but you need to get better at that. But you can see that it kind of bothered her that Hordak was so easily accepting of Entrapta, even though she's freaking crazy. And another thing I didn't know, you probably seen it in the screenshots before, the spiky hair thing. You're not an anime, and every time you try to do an anime thing, it looks stupid. And they kind of do it with the big anime surprised eyes, but they're doing it with the hair. Like if you watch, it's an anime trope where like if a character's excited or whatever, the hair kind of stands up. They're trying to do that here, but the art is so awful, it looks stupid. It looks like she put her finger in an electric socket, but whatever. We cut back to Adora checking out Bo's ass, and they figured that the spire in the middle of the town is First One's tech, and all these holograms are messages being recorded, sending it out to people. But I guess when everything went haywire on the planet, and they blame Mara again. Like, they don't even know what happened. They don't even know the context of what Mara did. I don't know the context. I don't know if they ever explain it in this season, but I hate the fact that they seem to be throwing her under the bus. Every time something goes wrong, oh, that damn Mara, what she did, oh, she's so awful. She never would have been chosen to be She-Ra if she was an awful person. She had to have had reasons for what she did. But people have been telling me in the comments and kidding me up on Twitter that they crap all over Mara because that was the original She-Ra show. And that's the writers talking crap about the original show about how bad that character was. I don't know if that's true, but that does sound like something that Noel Stevenson and her little group of, well, I say writers with air quotes, writers would do something like that. So, bad Mara, she ruins everything. I do like what Adora says here. She's like, wow, these are first ones? Like, these holograms? And they're like, yeah, these are the first original people who made all this technology. She's like, wow, they're just like regular people. Like, in my mind, I always thought of them like, oh, everyone was this great engineer, these very important people, but there were normal people too, because you see like a little girl and she's like doing a little dance. Yeah, they were human too. They had wants and desires and failures and successes, and there was good people and bad people. So I know we like to, even in real life, we look at past figures and we see them like in this unrealistic versions of them. Like, you think back to like past leaders and you think of them as these great things, but in the end, they were just humans too. And it's kind of humbling, and it's also inspiring too, that this great person is a normal guy, but hey, I'm a normal guy. I can be a great person too. I like that message, but we're talking a little sprinkle in this episode that goes on forever. They fix it, and Bo's tracker thing starts working, and then he's like, oh, we can send a message to those farmers and let them know to come back. They have an ability to accept this message? I thought they didn't have any electronics of any kind. And these people abandoned this village and they didn't tell Bright Moon. They didn't tell the Queen, Angela. They just did it on their own and didn't tell anyone. Little things like that drive me effing nuts. I hate crap like that. But there's his little data pad starts getting some more of that first one language, but it's all like jacked up because there's like so much of it. Adora can't read it. We get a jump cut to some desert area. Looks like a crashed ship. I'm assuming it's a crashed spaceship. Could be a spire, a tower, or something. And a screen lights up, and we see a chair, and there's no one in it. So I'm assuming a lot of this first one tech is starting to activate, and that's the end of this episode. 3 episodes down, and we move the plot forward 2 inches. Like, let's say the overall arc is a football field of 100 yards. You have 7 episodes to get this story in. You wasted 3 episodes barely moving maybe half a foot. What are they doing? I'm starting to think that they just have a little bit of an idea for a plot to move forward, and they're like, oh, that's not much of a story. Let's just throw in a bunch of ghost stories and silliness and everyone getting scared and Bo and had been doubting himself, and it's like, didn't they get over all this crap in the first season? I liked Hordak. Hordak I love his design. Liked him 99% of this episode. When he first yelled at Entrapta, he was doing it kind of like a wuss. Like, oh, you get out of here. I'd rather have him just have grabbed her, and because all these people are worthless to him. They have no value. He would easily kill you as easy as someone blows their nose and throws a tissue in the trash. They need to put that out more. They kind of did it when he was interacting with Catra, and they kind of made him a little bit of an idiot with the Entrapta. But yeah, we have another episode tomorrow. Man, for a women episode 4, there's only 7. It feels like this story's never going to go anywhere. But we'll see. We haven't gotten to the Dungeons and Dragons part that I did a reaction to that trailer or clip that they showed during that. It was not a Comic-Con, but I think it was at a convention. And yeah, I can't wait for that one because everyone says that's going to be this season's prom episode. Nothing will be as bad as season 1 prom, Princess Prom. But I think they're going to try to get close with that Dungeons and Dragons one. But see you guys tomorrow for the next episode. Keep the comments coming. I do read them all. And you guys have some great ideas and great concepts and different ways of looking at things. And I just love enjoying looking at everyone else's perspective on the show. There's even people who really like the show. And I like that perspective too. I like to know why you like it. And I like to know why other people dislike it. And that's what makes comments so much fun. But yeah, keep them rolling in. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow for episode 4. Crimson Saint here. Thanks for watching the video. If you're enjoying the content, be sure to sub, like, share, and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss a single upload. If you have any tips or story ideas, hit us up on Twitter at C15Podcast, or better yet, join our Discord server, link in the description below.